Would you like to hear the best dating advice? Truly, the best dating advice. And it's so simple that your mind is going to be blown. Yes, I suspected as much. Hello, I'm Francesca, vibrational love match strategist, and I am here to support all men and women in easily and effortlessly magnetizing their perfect match. So, today, best dating advice, let's dive in. Okay, I'm not, I'm going to be honest here. I have been in this realm for a really long time. But I had a friend reach out to me not too long ago, and they're like, "Hey, can I run something by you? Do you think this guy was flirting with me?" And so I was like, it kind of seems like he is, but did he follow up? And anyway, so then I was like, is this some type of newfangled thing? So I did some Googling and watched and read, like all these new dating advice things or dating tips or flirting tips. It was more about specifically flirting. And I felt like I needed to shower several times after watching some of these things because they were just yet again, humans make something so very simple, so very complicated, and so very sleazy. And let's just eliminate all that and get to simple, because simple is profound and simple can move mountains. So, best flirting tips, you already know this, but the main things are, maintaining eye contact, obviously asking personal questions, get to know them, and flirting should be fun and playful. And a third thing is to give a compliment, but it has to be sincere. Don't use a compliment as a segue. We're going to get to that in a second. So, for example, you notice that they have a great smile, just be like, "You have a really great smile." They can feel the sincerity in the compliment. You're not fooling anybody with like fake compliments or any type of game playing. Like, if you have watched anything, you know that I'm so anti all of that because it's just disaster mouse from the get. Now, 3 don'ts, and this is super important, and I need to say this before we get to the next part, because some of these things you may not know, and some of these things are actually being promoted as like a flirting technique to get somebody to respond to you and to build the tension. And yes, you do want to build tension, but not in a way that is creepy or a turnoff or just not in integrity or fun or flirty. So the first one that I have seen repeated multiple times, and I am vehemently against this, is to do that, give a compliment, but like pepper in like an insult or a challenge with it. So somebody might say a guy's doing this and he comes up to me and he was like, "Hey, you're really attractive for a blonde, but too bad I don't date blondes." Yeah, that doesn't work with high value women. So if a guy were to say that to me, I would be like, "Yeah, okay." Do you see what I'm saying? Like, those cheesy tactics are not going to work on somebody who knows their value and knows that that's like a line and it just comes off wrong. Like, women are wired differently than men. And so men, there's a lot more of this competitive edge. You're not going to get me to try to convince you that, oh yeah, you should date me by making this ridiculous statement. It's not going to happen. Sorry. No, I can smell the insincerity from like 10 miles away. So don't do those. Please do not give a compliment, insult, or any of those kinds of things. That just, it's a game. I'm going to invite you to choose differently. The second no-no, and this is specifically for men because some men I don't think know this. So if I'm the first one to let you know, you can thank me later. And that is, do not break the physical barrier first. And what I mean by that is, do not touch a woman unless she touches you first. The woman is the one that's going to be the one that kind of breaks that physicality barrier. And that's how you know that she's flirting and that it's acceptable to touch her back. And usually it's just like, like touch on the arm, the hand, the shoulder, a little punch in the arm, like, oh, that's a good one. So allow the woman to break that physical barrier, because if you're trying to flirt with a woman and she doesn't do that, she's not interested. I remember this is actually not too long ago. I was in a group of friends and we were talking, and this other friend came up. He was a male. I didn't know him, and he was da, 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 and then he touched me, and I'm like, why are you touching me? Like, I gave you no indication that that was okay. So, good rule of thumb to just allow the woman to be the first one to break that physical touch barrier. And the other thing that's super important, and it's so interesting. Yes, you want the tension to build, but do not start with any type of sexual innuendo right away. It's creepy. It usually comes off wrong, especially if you're on a dating app and it's in a text. It's like, whoa. Reserve that for later, those type of innuendos. Like, that's just say no to anything along those lines. Just say no. Okay, so now the piece that you have been waiting for, and it's so simple, so silly, but super successful because it's sincere. Everybody loves to laugh, right? So, this is gold. This is gold, everybody. This is gold. Okay. So the first thing is to really, I know it sounds ridiculous, but use a really cheesy pickup line, like one that, because you're going to make the other person laugh, right? And then that gets them comfortable, because the whole point in flirting is you're sussing the other person out, you're flirting, but you also have to feel comfortable with that person. So for example, one of the lines that cracked me up that somebody had used was, "Are you from Tennessee?" I was like, "No, why?" And so then he replied, "Because you're the only 10 I see." I cracked up, like I hee-hawed because because I wasn't expecting that. Like, I just was like, "Oh no, why would you think I was from Tennessee?" And then it went a totally different direction. It's flirty, they're letting you know that, yes, they think that you're attractive, but in a really non-aggressive way. And it's just playful. Like, that's the whole point of flirting, is that playfulness, right? Okay. And the second gold nugget is, if you think someone is flirting with you or you're flirting with somebody else, depending on the response, just do a go on. So then they're like, oh, because they may be expecting you to say something, but you really do want to hear more. Like, don't use this as like, oh, but so for example, if we'll just go back to the person saying, oh, you're attractive, or, you're really attractive for a blonde or whatever, I'd be like, go on. And then they have to come up with something else. But that's my way of flirting back. It's like, okay, oh, what else do you have? Right. And it's like, I want to hear more. It's an open invitation. That's what flirting should be. It's this playful, this invitation. It should be witty banter, but without like any of those kind of backward compliment things that seem to be popular and without being aggressive or anything kind of schmarmy along those lines. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you have a favorite cheesy pickup line, put it in the comments to share, because they crack me up. I still laugh. I just think they're hilarious. I just get such a kick because it's so simple, but yet so profound, and just with the comfort factor. So give this video a thumbs up, click like, click subscribe, hit that notification bell, all the things. Share with your friends, help spread love vibes around the world. And until next time, more love vibes to come. Ciao.